This demo will look at WilloWare's TimeCard module in Manufacturing Power Pack. TimeCard is a manufacturing WIP data collection utility. It integrates with GP Manufacturing, pulls in the GP Manufacturing MO and routing sequence and other information. It is designed as a data collection utility only. It does not create financial transactions inside of GP Manufacturing, so you don't get applied labor or machine fixed and variable overhead. This is designed for an environment where you want to be able to track that information for reporting purposes. You might want to look at who's working on a manufacturing order, be able to record how much time has been recorded against an MO, be able to look at the status of an MO at any given point, but not have that data create variances on the manufacturing order. I wanted to start by showing you the TimeCard Entry window itself. Then we'll go back and look at some setup. There's some unique functionality in this window, and it all goes back to how things are set up with it originally, but just wanted to take a look at the general layout of the window before we go take a look at setup. So you can see it's got manufacturing order and sequence, employee ID, machine, start, stop, basically all the same information that's captured on the GP Manufacturing WIP data collection window. We also have a few user-defined fields down here and a done checkbox. This is the setup window for TimeCard. You can see we've got our user-defined field labels over here. The auto tab functionality, this is the really unique part of this window. Auto tab is designed to make it much more efficient to enter data because you only have to go to the fields where you want to enter information. The auto tab works together with this field order window over here on the right. So what happens with auto tab is after you enter information in a field and you click tab, it will go to the next field in sequence. So this gives you a lot of control over which fields the tab sequence goes to and which fields are required. When you enable auto tab, you have a couple of other options here: auto start stop and auto save. What auto start stop does is when the tab sequence goes along and it hits the start button or it hits the stop button, it automatically clicks the button. So you can see in the tab sequence we have set up here, we'll go from employee ID to start button. The auto start stop will automatically click the button, which then causes it to skip the stop button, move to the save button, and automatically click the save button. So for the user entering the data, now all we need to do is enter MO, sequence employee ID, and then everything else is going to happen automatically. You can change the sort order in here by selecting a field and clicking the up and down buttons over here on the right, and you can also mark something as required by checking this checkbox. Auto match start stop works together with these other auto checkboxes. If you go through and it clicks the start button and clicks save, and then you enter another record that is matched based on MO number, sequence, and employee ID. So this would be where I have entered my start record. Now I go to my work center, do my work, come back, and enter a stop record. It will look for the start and automatically match it up with a stop and calculate the elapsed time. The middle section of the window here provides some controls over which MO statuses allow data collection and which MO statuses allow you to edit previously collected data. If you don't mark anything in here, you can't use the window. But you see, especially in the Edit Entries option, you might want to enable the ability to edit the data on a closed manufacturing order. Maybe you don't enter it until after the MO is complete and closed, or you want the ability to correct mistakes after the MO has been completed. So we'll look at a couple of examples. The first thing we're going to look at is how it functions doing manual data entry, and then we'll do another example where we use a barcode scanner. So we select our manufacturing order, select our routing sequence, and now after we enter or select the employee ID, this is where the auto tab functionality is going to jump in, and it'll move from here to the start button. The start button populates the start date and time field with the current date and time. And then since our tab sequence goes from here to stop to the save button, that auto tab functionality will recognize that it doesn't need to go to stop, it needs to go to save. So it'll move from the start button to the save button and click that. So after I select the employee ID, there's several things that are going to happen pretty quickly here. Keep an eye in the bottom left, you'll see that the window is saving the record. Okay, so here's our new record right here. You can see we've got our start and stop time. And we also have a smart list set up here over in the manufacturing folder. It's got our start time, no stop and end time yet. And you can also see here that for every record entered through the TimeCard window, it captures a date, time, and user ID. Okay, so now we'll enter our stop record. Select our MO, select our sequence, and again when we select employee ID, this time it's going to go, and since we marked the auto match start stop, it'll find the start record. It's going to retrieve that start record, move directly to the stop button, click stop, calculate the elapsed time, which will fill into these fields right here, and then click save. All you'll see with all of that is that it'll tell you that it's saving down here in the bottom left. Alright, so we'll pull up our record again. Now you can see it has both a start and stop. It calculated the elapsed time. Come over and look at it in Smart List, and you can see start date time, and it's got the elapsed calculation. Something else to note on this window is that it also shows totals in here. So if you have multiple users working on a manufacturing order, it'll display a sequence total and also a manufacturing total. So next we'll take a look at how this functions with a barcode scanner. It's relatively easy to set up barcode scanning for WIP data collection with GP manufacturing. All you need to do is download a code 39 barcode font and then modify the GP work order traveler to print a couple of the fields using that code 39 font instead of the normal text font. And then you'll get something that looks like this on the work order traveler that prints out a GP. This first barcode is the manufacturing order. The second is the routing sequence. If you were to do this, the employee ID would probably not be printed on the manufacturing order. You might do a separate sheet listing all of the employees and their barcodes and laminate that and attach that to the data collection station so that when they're doing the data entry, they just scan these first two fields off the traveler and then scan their barcode for user ID. So this is where the auto tab functionality really comes into play, because the user doesn't even need to touch the keyboard. GP will automatically move from field to field, clicking the buttons and clicking save, so the user doesn't ever have to leave the barcode scanner. So the first thing we'll do here is we'll scan the manufacturing order number. That gets entered into the window. We'll scan the sequence. And now when we scan the employee ID, recall again with that auto tab functionality, it's going to bounce to the start button, click that, then go to the save button and click that. So if I'm working on this manufacturing order, I've done one barcode scan, scanned in the sequence, now I scan my employee ID, I'm ready to walk away and start work. So here's that record. And you can see it's captured our start date and time, but the stop is empty. And that shows up over here in Smart List. And again, we've got our date time user stamp on all of these records. So now I've finished my work. I come back, I've got the work order traveler, I scan in the MO number, I scan in the routing sequence, scan in my employee ID, and I'm done. We'll take a look at this. You can see it matched those two up. It calculated the elapsed time. And here's how this information looks over in Smart List. And again, you can see the start time and the elapsed calculation. If you'd like to learn more about this product or any of the other WilloWare software, please visit us at WilloWare.com or send us an email at sales@willowware.com.